Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Boardgame Co., and today we are taking a look at Gamefound's Summer Feast 2026. I am back from Gen Con, and I have way too many things to catch up on, things I have to do, things I want to do, and honestly, most of the things I have to do, I also want to do. I am very fortunate in that capacity, but nonetheless, there's a lot to get into, and so let's not waste too much time. But before we do, several things to note or to say or to whatever. Number one, this Friday, I think, I'll be doing a Gen Con haul video. I don't yet know if I'll be doing it live or not live, but I hope to be doing a Gen Con haul, all the various games we came back from Gen Con with, as well as my plans to dive into them. I have already read the rulebooks for like 25 games or so. I have had a few days, and I am getting ahead of myself to be able to get on top of those games as fast as possible. Number two, this channel is sponsored by Allplay. Before we dive into the Gamefound Feast, at Gen Con, Allplay actually had a bunch of announcements coming up. So they have a new version of Dominant Species coming out. It's going to be part of their new Masterworks line. They have a few new lines they're doing. Dominant Species is going to be one of them. They have Through the Mountains, which is basically just part of their regular series of games. And then they have Crash Landed, as well as Have a Magical Day. Crash Landed is part of their Epics line. Again, it's another new line they're doing. And Have Magical Day is another new line, kind of focused more on IPs or IP adjacent. As you can imagine, Have a Magical Day is not actually an IP. It doesn't say like Disneyland, but it is very much leaning into that Disneyland kind of vibe. Designed by John D. Clear and Robert. Oh my gosh, Robert, I always forget your name. I can never say Robert's last name. Robert. Designed by John D. Clear and Robert. But it's Have Magical Day is a game in which you're going to be exploring a amusement park. You're visiting an amusement park. Crash Landed is kind of this epic, you have Crash, hence the Epics line. You have landed on a planet and things are going to happen. Through the Mountains is a sequel to the Desert, and Dominant Species is a reprint of the famous Chad Zenson game that is very, very popular, and I think it's out of print. I'm not sure. GMT had the rights at one point. I'm not sure what the story there as far as rights, but ultimately it is going to be Dominant Species retooled with art by Ian O'Toole. That's going to be some of the things coming to you from Allplay. With that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the Gamefound Summer Feast 2026. There were 26. That was actually not intentional, but there were 26 titles in the Gamefound Summer Feast. I will be going through these, and I'm ranking these in order from least to most exciting as far as my own personal notes. While I host the feast, there's a good time to note, if you missed it, I work for Gamefound, I'm CMO of Gamefound, I even host the feast, so I've actually gone through all of these already on the feast video, but I was doing that more as my CMO of Gamefind kind of role where I'm showcasing things, and this is where I get to go ahead and just tell you, frankly, what I'm the most excited about and why. So I'll be going through these from least to most exciting. Let's go ahead and start off with the last few. Before we do, I'll note the last 5 or 6 over here, they're not even things that I'm not necessarily not excited about so much as I'm not the target audience for them. So I'll be kind of going through them pretty quickly. We have Pilgrim the Haunted Frontier. This is a co-op skirmish game from Beer Games. They've done a bunch of these games. I just don't think I'm the target audience for their games. They lean more into the tabletop miniature genre. We have Eldfall Chronicles, same kind of situation. They basically have a free company. It's a narrative-driven tabletop adventure game. I always thought the gameplay and the characters and the abilities is kind of cool, but it does lean more into that tabletop skirmish. We have Shadows of Nosferatu over here, a Year Zero engine horror game. This is leaning into the RPG space. Again, not really the target audience for it, so not going to focus too much on it. We have Grimdark Future, Jade, and Claw. This is from One Page Rules. They already had the first Grimdark feature on Gamefound. This is the second one. It's kind of, they previously did STLs, but this is kind of taking the STLs, following the success of their Broken Truth campaign. Again, great miniatures, but very much more tabletop miniatures and less my genre. Then from there we have Food Chain Magnate Special Edition. This one I'm less excited about only because I don't think there's anything new here. I already have this. This is basically, hey, if you missed out on your chance to get Food Chain Magnate, oh my gosh, 26 days. So I already did an unboxing of Food Chain Magnate, and I've played the original Food Chain Magnate. I still have not played the new version of it, so I do want to try to prioritize that. 26 days feels like a lot, but I know what I have in my post-Gen Con stuff, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to get some review coverage up for you. But the game Food Chain Magnate is absolutely amazing. I haven't played this new edition yet, so I can't speak to the quality of life aspects. I can tell you it looks beautiful. I was very excited. Check out my unboxing if you're interested there. But this is going to be, your last chance. I believe it's the last chance to get Food Chain Magnate. Effectively, Slaughter actually put out an update on this, basically saying, hey, the original campaign was supposed to be only on the campaign and then through Lucky Duck's website, but then because of Goliath and Lucky Duck, whatever, that whole thing kind of, didn't work out. So now they're just selling the remaining stock. They're not reprinting anymore. They're selling the remaining stock of Food Chain Magnate you can go ahead and check that out over on Gamefound. Which means from here we can now start to move into more things that I'm potentially ranking in order of interest. And that's what we're going to start off with FIEF rants over here. I'm just not a huge fan of the FIEF games, but not because I have played them. I'm not the target audience. I've never really played any of the FIEF games. I remember way back when I first got into gaming, I was interested in the very original FIEF, which I believe they're redoing, FIEF England if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I never found myself being completely pulled in by these, so just not the target audience. Then we have Kelp. By the way, I will be spending more time in these games as I get higher up the list. The early ones, I'm not as interested in them. Kelp, Shark vs. Octopus. This is an interesting one because this is one where I like Kelp a lot, but I did eventually get rid of it. And the question is, do I get it back? Do I try more? It was an excellent two-player game of Shark vs. Octopus, a hidden movement game in which one player is playing as the octopus trying to evade the shark, while the shark is trying to build up the tableau and hunt down the octopus. This adds a bunch of new elements. Honestly, this probably should be a little higher up on the list if I'm thinking about this more, because again, the tricky part is, an expansion for a game I already got rid of, inherently I'm less the target audience for, but many times expansions have made me get back the original games. I came back from Gen Con with Acropolis and all the expansions because it's like, hey, I love the original game, I just wanted more content, now there's more content, let me get it back. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to do a Gen Con, not haul. I did a Gen Con haul video. I'm going to be doing a Gen Con haul video. I need to do a Gen Con getting rid of games on my shelves video to kind of make way for all the games in the Gen Con haul video, because I try to keep 200 games. It's going to be a mess. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do a Gen Con purge, a post-Gen Con purge. Anyways, Kelp, Shark vs. Octopus. Some new expansions for Kelp. It definitely has me intrigued. I'm sure I'll be giving it a shot or try at some point. That might make me pull it back. We have Neon Cartels over here. Neon Cartels is a game that has deduction. I was intrigued by that. There's deduction in the game. Don't know a lot about this one. From Starlit Citadel, choose your corporation, build your district, discover the wasteland. All of that sounds good. Free for all, 2 vs. 2, or solo mode. But there's like an element of deduction. I don't know. I was kind of mixed on this one. I wasn't fully pulled in. The main board, I think the graphic design in the main board could be better. The card art and general theme, that sounds pretty good. The components look good. So color me not yet knowing enough about this one. Again, Kelp should definitely have been higher this one. Kelp I feel should have been like 4 or 5 spots higher than I put it. Agent of Smersh Epic Edition. Agent of Smersh is another game that I never actually got my hands on. Way back when I first got into gaming, I was interested in Tales of Arabian Nights and Agents of Smersh. And then I played Tales of Arabian Nights and I didn't love that one, although I am interested in the new one because I'm constantly a sucker for any like new versions of anything. I'm like, maybe now's the time. Like if there's not enough games I love, there are enough games I love, but there's not enough games I love, maybe I should try this new one. Agent of Smersh is another one that I never played the original. It kind of missed me by. After I played Tales of Arabian Nights, I just was like less interested in Agent of Smersh, even though there's more gameplay on this one. But then, you know, what's it called? Everything Epic, they picked this one up, and they've had, I think they've had 2 or 3 printings around this. This might be the second printing, I don't know. But this has new expansions added to it. So if you're looking for a storybook adventure game, Agent of Smersh has been around for quite some time. This is the newer version, and this is 2 new expansions for it. We have Bride of Spooktacular, another one that I just, again, never played the original game from Level 99 Games. Take on the role of a epic monster as you try to terrify the various people in the game. I don't know enough about the actual gameplay on this one. Ratings in it are pretty decent. You know, Brian Drake gave it a 9 out of 10. I think the overall ratings are more in that 7, 8-ish range. Not even 8, but like mid-7s. But again, I'm interested in this one, not necessarily feeling the need to hunt this one down, but certainly open to playing it. But this is the expansion to Bride of Spooktacular, bringing you new monsters to the game. We have Dungeons of Tanares. This is an interesting one, because Tanares was once upon a time one of my favorite games of all time, but similar to Gloomhaven, it's one of those games that the more I played it, the more I found myself kind of feeling I played enough of it. Because Tanares is a ton of content. This is the 3rd game. I think it's the concludes the epic Tanares trilogy. There was Tanares Adventures, then there was, other way around. There was Arena of the Contest, then Tanares Adventures, and now we have Dungeons of Tanares over here. This is an epic game system. If you have the kind of appetite for this game, there is so much for this. I both think this is an incredible game, and one of the games I've had so much fun with it. Again, not many games have I given, 200 hours of my time to, but Tanares is definitely one that I've given 200 hours of my time to. I love the game system. I love the intricacies. It's got an excellent skirmish mode, a better cooperative mode, a ton of campaign content to go through. It is truly one of the better games I've played, but once I got to 200 hours or so, I got to a point where I felt I had seen enough of it that the table time and the rules and all those other things that do get in the way of the experience, those are definitely the biggest challenge I have with Tanares. Is that it is one of those games, at least for Tanares Adventures, sitting down for it was a 3 to 4 hour experience, and that's not the end of the world, but it's enough time that once I played it enough, I found myself less and less pulling it out. So both things are true. Incredible game. I don't yet know if I'm the target audience for this one. It's, again, I have a high enough fond enough feelings on this one that it's higher up on my list of things towards the end over here, but it's still one that unless something special about it, I don't know if I'd be pulled in again. Then we have Dino Battles over here. Dino Battles from Rebellion Plugged gives you Ride, War, Conquer, the Time of Dinosaurs. I don't know enough about this one. Roll dice and go to skirmish mode and hit each other. I think the components are not pulling me in visually. The kind of the red box, the blue-orange, I do like blue and orange as colors. It is the Boardgame Co. color scheme, but I think there's too much gray with a dash of blue and orange that I'm just not being pulled in by the color palette. Even the board being full red, I think visually this game is not pulling me in. Gameplay-wise, it might be amazing. It might be rolling dice, having a ton of fun time. I don't know. I'm both intrigued and definitely interested in learning more and finding out more as to whether I am or am not the target audience for it, but as of right now, in a weird way, the color palette is the main thing that's not pulling me in. We have Steam and Cheese from Skelly Games. Steam and Cheese, basically a Euro game, in a world similar to one we know, mice become the dominant species, not be confused with the other dominant species. They build houses, roads, cities, etc. This one's Skelly Games. They do a variety of games from the slightly lighter to the more medium-heavy. This one does seem to be more the medium-heavy, designed by Alex Rain, art by Roman something, I don't know the last name, sorry, I apologize. But gameplay over here, you can be other mice to make the best cheese. Again, I'm interested. I don't know enough about the actual gameplay elements here. I know it's a mid to heavy Euro, and it's got great, adorable artwork. That is enough to bump it up already to where we are about halfway through the feast titles, but not enough to have me quite certain as to, what do I think? What do I think? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We have Ordinary Magic, another one we don't know quite enough about, but this is coming from Unstable Games and Ordinary Magic. Basically, Ordinary Magic is a new publishing imprint or whatever under Unstable Games. 3 new games, 1 extraordinary world. I am very intrigued. Designed by Marceline Lehman over here. The various are the Lyman, I think Marceline Lyman. It's 3 new games from them. We don't know what the games are, but we have one coming game 1, game 2, and game 3. A bookshop, a elevator, hotel, or coffee shop. I think I actually do know the vague, oh, here it is. Staff Picks, Hotel Lobby, and Matcha Latte. Those are the code names for these 3 titles. We'll find more about these games at some point. I mean, she's the designer of Dino Racer, Wildberries, and High Tide, but I need to know more about the games. So it's high enough on this list just because I'm intrigued as to this new world of Ordinary Magic that Unstable Games is doing. I'm curious. Calling me curious. That's who I am. We have Aberration. Aberration Oblivion's Embrace expansion and reprint. Aberration is a game I actually played twice last week, but I hope to be diving into it more because I should have a review coming for it soon. I played the prototype, I played the final game, I'm playing the expansion, so expect a review sometime soon. But this is basically the new content for it. Designed by Peter Lee, who is the creator of Horrified, as well as some other games. But it's a tower defense game, and this expansion basically brings you kind of more of a story kind of aspect to it. It really takes the core gameplay, but it gives it to you more as an arc of a story path. So it's not these random goals, but it's like, oh, go to the gate and hold back those people. Oh no, there's new monsters approaching over there. Instead of randomness, it gives it to you more structured in a way that is a repeatable campaign. I believe it's 2 different campaigns of 5 missions each, if I recall correctly. Do not hold me to that, but effectively it gives you the same world and storytelling of, well, the same gameplay mechanics of Aberration, which is functionally a tower defense game where you have a character, you have the role, you bag build, and you do all that to hold back the hordes, but it just gives it to you with a more structured campaign-like feel to it. So I'm definitely interested in it because I like Aberration, and this kind of feels like it would bring Aberration to the next level, although with the downside of like a linked series of games, it's always pros and cons. It gives you more structure as you kind of level up and do all that, but it gives you the obligation to play a bunch in order to get the full experience, which can be a pro, but also can hold back you from being able to fully experience a game. We have Call of Cthulhu Old One Origins. This is basically StarCraft, which then became Forbidden Stars, which then became Call of Cthulhu Old One Origins from Chaosium. This is taking that same gameplay and bringing it to you with a Cthulhu theme, which both things are true. I always feel that we don't need more Cthulhu themes, but then some Cthulhu games just really, really land. I mean, at the end of the day, what's it called? Oh my gosh, Death May Die, one of my favorite games of all time. So this one has me intrigued. The cover art does not pull me in, frankly, but the miniatures look absolutely fantastic. The gameplay of Forbidden Stars, the main thing here is Forbidden Stars is one of those excellent game experiences that the main thing that held it back for me is the fact that when you were playing the game, when combat was going on, combat was so engaging that other players were kind of on the sidelines as that happened. So you'd find yourself kind of playing a waiting game if you weren't involved in combat, which might make you think it's about a 2-player game, but 2 players didn't give you the same level of area control that the full game gave. That was one of the challenges of the game for me. If they can nail that, if they can do slightly better, tweak the game systems while maintaining the magic of the game, combined with some of these miniatures over here, that would be incredible. So again, color me interested with some degree of uncertainty around it. We shall see. see. We'll find out. We'll find out. Then we go to Lorenzo Magnifico. This is a new Renaissance, a new reprint, a 10-year anniversary edition. I think it's a 10-year anniversary, with 2 stunning anniversary editions. Return to Lorenzo with this. Now, the cover art itself is fine. I'm curious about the components. Like the cover art's, you know, we got the French to beginning, a glorious end, and 2 acts for this. I don't know what gameplay changes they're bringing or what expansions or what the extra things are being added, but effectively, Lorenzo Magnifico is an excellent game. I do think the expansion makes it even better. It is playable on Boardgame Arena if you want to give it a shot. I think it's playable on Boardgame Arena. Now I'm not sure. I'm not certain if it's playable. Don't quote me on that. It might not be. But it's one of those games that I very much enjoyed the base game. Eventually got rid of it. The expansion made it much better, and I got it back and then held on to it for another 2 or 3 years. But I did eventually get rid of it again. Euro games are just prime real estate. I don't get to play as many Euro games as I'd like to, and that's just always a challenge to balance it all. But that said, the new edition is always a good way to go ahead and pull me back in, especially if there's other aspects to it. Restored artwork, upgraded components, more possible strategies, solo modes, all these other things. So I am reluctantly intrigued. Then we have Metal Slug, the board game over here. There's actually 2 Metal Slug games on Gamefound coming up at some point. So, you know, we got this one and another one from Synergic Games. They did the oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but the Cthulhu-esque, you know, the Cthulhu-esque roguelike game that I really enjoyed. This is going to be a new legendary Metal Slug arcade experience storing onto the tabletop. Miniatures look great. The cover art looks great. All the things look great. I just don't know enough about the actual gameplay yet. Metal Slug is one of those video games that I played way back when. Like, I forgot Metal Slug existed. And when I found out this was coming to Gamefound, I had to like look it up, and I was like, I've played that game. I have like these core memories of running around shooting everything. So again, they hook me on nostalgia. Hopefully the gameplay delivers as well. The miniatures look great. So the gameplay is going to be the main question as to what is the gameplay actually going to be like. Right now, my excitement for this is primarily around the IP and the publisher. I don't yet know more than that to be more excited. We have Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, or well, Arkham Horror Remastered from the Vault series. Fantasy Flight over here is coming back with their first Vault series. This is Arkham Horror Remastered, which is the 2nd edition, basically. So we have the 1st edition, which no one knows about. We have the 2nd edition, which is very popular, and the 3rd edition, which is also popular, but a lot of people like the 2nd edition more than the 3rd edition. And this is bringing back the 2nd edition. So Arkham Horror Remastered with upgraded components, small tweaks to the gameplay, like very minor tweaks, like it's going to be 99% the same, with adjustments to them, tiny little adjustments, but a revised rulebook, updated graphic design, new art. I assume that there will be like all the honestly, now I don't know. I assume there'll be all the content for this game, but I'm not quite certain about it, I'm realizing now, so we will see what they end up having. But Arkham Horror Remastered from Fantasy Flight, color me interested in this one. Arkham Horror is one of the games that I play before I got into the hobby, so to speak. It's one of those games that I had like an interesting time because it was definitely very overwhelming. As someone who hadn't played a lot of traditional tabletop games, trying to play Arkham Horror with this one guy who knows board games is a rough time to get into it. It's not, again, I still liked it. I don't think I ever fully gave Arkham Horror the ideal shot because I played it when this kind of game would have been too overwhelming for me. So it is something I need to do at some point. Then we have Fortress Fall from Skytier Games. Fortress Fall, again, this is an interesting one because the visual aspect of it is not what's pulling me in. It's the combination of deck building, area control, as well as Skytier Games. Trusting Skytier Games, like a lot of their games I have really enjoyed, from Skytier Horde to Onward. They've done a great job with the gameplay elements of things, so that combined with the area control deck builder has me interested. But the actual like visual aspect over here, that's not pulling me in. This table, I don't know what's happening over here. The box looks fine. Like the box looks, I guess, better, but like the table definitely not pulling me in. So this is being pulled up here by trusting how much fun Skytier Games have been. Fable Quest from Tycoon Games. This is basically a reboot-ish of Arcadia Quest. It's kind of Arcadia Quest, kind of not. It's a fully cooperative campaign adventure set in the world of Arcadia Quest, which actually has me more interested in it. Because Arcadia Quest is one of those games that I always liked, but one of the areas I didn't love is I didn't like that final strike element. That if you're the last person to land a final blow on someone, you get all the goods. I've never liked that element in games, and Arcadia Quest had it as a huge part of things. So like, how do I deal with the fact that I don't want to hit because I want to get the finishing blow? And so again, there's managing aspects to it. I just never liked that, but I liked everything else about Arcadia Quest. So I am intrigued about, you know, the accessibility, the fun, the simple systems, the chibi miniatures, all of that I'm very intrigued by, and now I'm interested into what they can do if they're giving it to you in a full cooperative mode. So color me very interested in this one, hesitant, but very interested. We have Satisfactory, the board game from Mood Publishing. I love Factorio. I have talked about Factorio many times on this channel. I love Factorio, and Satisfactory, I played a little bit. Like, I bought the game way back when. I played it for maybe 20 minutes, not enough time to give it a full shot or see where it goes, but enough to get a taste of the general experience. It's a manufacturing game. You build stuff so you can build stuff better, rinse, repeat, and do so as much as possible. The only reason this is not my #1 most anticipated is because I don't imagine that you can fully translate this feel to the tabletop. So Mood Publishing, they've obviously done Deep Rock Galactic. That gives them a huge legs up in terms of like they've done this before with many games. I just don't know, like, okay, great, that's amazing. They've done it with many games. Will they do it with Satisfactory? Will they be able to give me the feeling? Will it just be a good game set in the world of Satisfactory? Honestly, that's good enough. But if I'm being pulled in, if the main thing that has me hooked on Satisfactory is the mechanics, I don't know if you can translate that kind of factory building to a tabletop system in a way that would be as satisfying as a digital game. So, very interested, also hesitant as to what the deliverable will be on this. Then we have Steadfast from Sky Kingdom Games. This is a narrative-driven adventure game. It's a roguelike kind of combining branching stories, strategic bag building, character progression, fast tactical combat. My understanding is that this is giving you the some of the core elements of Icefairen Guard while making it much more accessible. It's meant to be more of a roguelike area with puzzles and combat and bag building, solo or cooperative. So I've always loved the world of Icefairen Guard, the idea of potentially being able to do this in a single sitting or chained together for a longer adventure, but basically like, a few days of gameplay as opposed to 300 plus hours of gameplay. That definitely has me very interested in this one, so intrigued. I don't imagine they'll be able to do the story as well because I don't think you can. Inherently, this kind of game is compromising on the story elements of the Icefairen Guard. But if interested in the mechanical elements, I thought Icefairen Guard did such a great job with the bag building that I'd love to see it in a more accessible format, whatever that might be. In fact, I actually did a video at one point. I did 5 games that I wanted to be a more accessible version of it. Icefairen Guard was one of them, and now we have Steadfast. Primal was one of them, and we have the new Primal Legends. So now I need to see what the other 3 were, because one at a time, my dreams are coming true. Then we have over here coming in at #3, our third most anticipated, we have Defenders of the Realm Definitive Edition from Greater Than Games. I mentioned this before, but I played this at PAX Unplugged 2 years ago, and I thought it was great. Now, the biggest thing, I have to give this disclaimer because whenever I'm this anticipated about a game, sometimes I play it and the game delivers and lands. It's incredible. It's everything I hoped it would be, or that first experience continues to turn into many more experiences that are great. Other times, and this has happened, sometimes I come to you and I'm like, I'm so excited about this game, but I only played 1 game of it and I need to play it more. And then the review drops a few weeks later and I'm like, actually, kind of not great, honestly. Like, the first game was great, but then from there it was a downhill. Like, this is why we play things multiple times before we review them. The downside is when I give you that excitement, I try to give you the disclaimers. I played half a game of Defenders of the Realm 2 years ago, okay? This is not a review. This is an excitement thing. Excitement-wise, I thought they did a great job. It's one of those games that I only got to play a demo, and I wanted to finish the game. So Defenders of the Realm, PAX Unplugged 2 years ago. Since then, I have still been excited to go ahead and properly play this cooperative game that leans into some of the kind of structure of a pandemic-type ecosystem, of, the hordes coming down and hitting you, but giving it to you in a better gameplay experience. Well, not necessarily better than Pandemic, different than Pandemic, much more focused on characters and fighting and all that stuff. But again, I really enjoyed this, and I'm excited to finally play this when it hits my table, or when it hits a table. But Defenders of the Realm, the definitive edition of it. Coming in #2, we have 10 Hive and Cellar expansions, and this is one of those that is a even playing things multiple times doesn't always help you. Basically, Tend is one of those weird situations where Tend is one of the lower rated IV games ratings that I've given. If I recall correctly, I gave it a 3.5, and even that 3.5 was based on kind of like still wanting to like it more, because every time I played it, because I played Tend multiple times before reviewing it for their last crowdfunding campaign, and I liked it, but I never felt like I got enough done in the game, and I played it again and again and again, and I just never felt like I cracked that code. And I don't know how much of it is changes between the prototype and the final game, because I don't think there were a ton. There were a few small ones, but I don't think there was a ton, versus how much of it is me just getting better at the system. But since then, I recently started diving into this. This is a game that I've played, I don't know, like 8 or 9 times in the past, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've played it a decent amount. I played it twice solo, a bunch of 2-player, a bunch 3-player, no 4-player, but like I've played this a lot, is my point. I've played Tend a lot, and I've really been enjoying Tend, and so I'm very excited for Hive and Cellar, because I've actually been debating doing a re-review of Tend. In fact, I think I just did a solo gameplay on the channel. You can go check that out, but I've been debating doing a re-review of Tend because of the fact that I both like it a lot more while still having complaints. My biggest complaint is Tend is the least fun, least satisfying, well, I guess fun and satisfying the same things. Tend is the main name of the game, and that action is the one that I least enjoy. I have tried all the various strategies at this point, again, playing it 8 or 9 times in a month. We'll do that to you. I've tried fishing. I've tried chopping, digging. I've tried all the various things. I've tried full-on tending, and full-on tending is not satisfying. It doesn't work out. It's too much work. Tend is something I loosely touch upon in the game, as opposed to really heavily engaging in, because of the fact that it just doesn't work. And so, supposedly, I believe some of these expansions are actually going to be addressing that in some way, so we'll see. But ultimately, there's 2 new expansions for a game that I've really been enjoying, so my opinion on this one has shot way up. I really like, this is my second most anticipated at this point because of how much I've been enjoying the game. So there's not a lot of information here yet, but I do want this. I do want Tend. And then lastly, my number one most anticipated is going to be Mobius. Mobius from Fantasia Games, and this one is being, my excitement here is propped up by the designers, but also by Fantasia Games, who generally have delivered excellent Euro games. I loved Endless Winter. It still is in my collection for now, but it has been partially replaced by Arnak and Dune Imperium as better games overall. But then from there, what's it called? What's the next one? Oh my gosh, where is it myself? Unconscious Mind. Unconscious Mind. Absolutely amazing experience, highly recommended. I think it's such a satisfying Euro game to dive into. And now we have Mobius over here, which the art looks amazing. The gameplay we'll find out more about, but overall the art, the productions, it's a Simone Luciani game. So it's one that has me very, very intrigued to find out more about it and to see where this one lands. I don't know. I don't know where it goes. We'll see what happens. I am excited, again, based on the reputation of the company and the designers. That's what has this one propped up for me, and the art. The art certainly does not hurt, but that is going to be Mobius, my most anticipated. Honestly, I probably should put 10 higher. Because again, it's that aspect of a game I've actually enjoyed a lot now, I feel about it, but my original review, versus a game that I'm very excited for. Either way, I'll leave it as is. Mobius is my most anticipated over here from the various Feast titles. And that is basically my 26 game Feast recap over here of the various titles from Gamefound Summer Feast and my order of personal excitement and why around each of these titles. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Alex Racker from Boardgame Co. And as always, I hope you have a good one. Do you know that Yoda has a last name? Like Yoda, like that little green alien, he has a last name. It's Lehihu.